The survey element provides you the ability to create surveys within a course, whether that's a single survey like an end-of-course survey, or perhaps multiple surveys within a course like end-of-module or lesson surveys. In either case, the survey element is a non-graded element that allows you to collect feedback from your students, and then you can look at collective information across all the surveys collected by students within that course. To create a survey, we'll begin by clicking the Add a Survey course element link. You'll give your survey a title and then a description. You'll notice that the weighting of this course element is set to 0 by default. So again, this is not a graded element. So adding it to the weight or adding it to the graded objects within a course probably doesn't make a lot of sense. However, if you wanted to include it in your grading, you could certainly choose to weight the element and give it a number weight. You can also choose to make it required if you like, or you can deselect required. Click the Save button to continue. And as always, once you've created it, you certainly have the ability to go back and make edits to that as well. To begin adding questions to the survey, we'll click the Edit Survey subcategory tab. Now the first thing I want to call your attention to on this page is that you'll notice the description I entered for the element does not appear on this screen. That's because the survey gives you the ability to create prefix and suffix or opening and closing comments for the survey. To add those comments, we'll go up here to the advanced icon and we can enter those comments here. Once you've entered your comments, click the Save Survey button. Next, we'll add our questions. To do so, we'll click the Add Question icon, and you'll notice that there's a list of different question options. Now, these options may change over time. However, right now, we have the following that you see on your screen. We'll go through each one individually. A free-form question is a question where a student would provide you written feedback to a question. We'll begin by entering the question. Next, you can choose whether the student would provide a response in text or as a number. And then you can choose your layout. So in this particular case, the question is above the response field, or you can choose the opposite, where the response field is above the question. Finally, you select whether this question is required or not required. Questions are not required by default, so if you click on the required action icon here, this question is now required, and you'll click the Save button to proceed. We'll scroll down to add our next question. Next, we'll choose multiple choice. Again, we'll enter our question. And then we'll enter the answer options. Now you'll notice as I type in an answer option, a new field appears below to give you the ability to add another option. When you're done, you simply don't have to delete this field, just don't enter any text in there. Again, you can choose the layout. So the default layout here is a grid layout format. If you wanted to choose something different, here's a list view. And then you have a different type of listing view as well. I like this one, so we're going to go with this one. Then you have some settings. You can choose to shuffle your options. You can allow multiple selections. You can also choose to make it required. I'll click Required and then click Save. We'll scroll down and add our next question. Next, we'll add a true-false question. Now, in this particular case, with true-false questions, you can choose the default value of true-false, or you can select yes or no. So I'm going to select yes or no. I feel like that's a better option for this particular question. Again, I can select my layout. We'll choose grid this time. I'll make it required, and then we'll click Save. Scroll down, we'll add our next question. Now we'll choose a rating question. Again, we'll enter our question prompt. Next, you can choose how many options you're providing by using the simple slider here. So if I wanted to have more stars than 5, which is the default, I can certainly scale that up, or I can scale it down if I want. In this case, we're going to leave that set to 5. If you wanted to add labels to this, you could certainly enter those labels. And then you can choose whether you're using stars or hearts. Since I've opted to include the word stars in my question, I'm going to choose the stars option. I'll make it required, and then I'll click Save. We'll scroll down, we'll add one more question. And this time we're going to enter an opinion question. We'll enter our question prompt. Again, you can use the options slider to increase the number of options that are available. You can also enter values here to replace the default of strongly disagree, strongly agree, or unsure. You can make those whatever you like. And then you can choose to make it required. Then we'll click the Save button. Now once you've added all of your questions, you can review them here. You can also edit each one by going into the edit icon, or copy, or delete. Once you're done, you can go back, and then we'll want to activate the survey. To see how the survey will look to your student, we'll click on Preview Survey, and then we'll click the Start Survey button.